In this first episode of Premier Interschools, we look ahead to this Saturday's traditional rugby derby between fierce rivals Jeppe and KES. King Edward VII School, or better known as KES, is a proud old Johannesburg school. Rich in sporting heritage and tradition, KES are always a force in South African schoolboy rugby.
King Edward's 111 years old this year. We have a traditional boys' school with a great old boys network, strong sense of community. We have a wonderful parent network, and they spend a great deal of time here at the school ensuring that we're able to maintain standards. Yeah, we have a great sense of community, wonderful ethos, traditional boys' school, wonderful hierarchy amongst the boys, very important to them.
KES has become somewhat of a factory for producing sporting legends, with a host of Springboks and Proteas amongst their old boys. Box stars Joe van Niekerk and Brian Banner are the most recent rugby heroes to wear that special red jersey.
It's been a good 13 years now since I matriculated, so it has been a while. I think I've come a long way since my days at King Edward's. Some great times that I had back there. You look back, it's the first time I ever started playing rugby. Post the '95 World Cup final, and going into high school and going to a traditionally rich sporting school like King Edward's. Rugby was a big thing for us. So looking back then, there were great times. Being a schoolboy and playing rugby is as best as it comes. And being able to play for King Edward's, being able to play the big school derbies were always special.
I think rugby within a school environment, in a particular boys' environment, always seems to bring the school together. I think it's a popular sport. So again, it lends to the spirit and the wonderful spirit we have here at King Edward. But there always seems to be just that added value to the first team rugby jersey. And I think the history of the school also plays a role in that. But we try and downplay that to a large extent. For us it's vitally important that the boys are proud to play for the school no matter what team they're in. But certainly the red jersey and the first 15 jersey in particular is something that boys really strive to attain.
Just the pride and passion that goes with wearing your first team jersey at school was an absolutely fantastic privilege and honour, and being able to do it at a school like King Edward's was really special.
While every first team match is cherished, a big derby is something really special. For both KES and Jeppe, this match is the one that really matters.
We always look forward to playing Jeppe Boys High School, and there's a healthy rivalry between the two schools based on mutual respect.
I think the King Edward's Jeppe fixture has always been a big one in the Johannesburg schools calendar. There's always been massive crowd attendance. I remember my first team game against Jeppe in my matric year. It was my first ever televised game. I'll never forget, it was at Jeppe. It was a physical, it was a hard, tough game, and the crowds were there in their droves. So yeah, it was great to experience stuff like that. It was great to experience schoolboy rugby, really living out the full enjoyment of this great game we call rugby.
The Jeppe fixture is always the biggest fixture of the year. Traditional rivals, I don't know since when, but it goes back many years. It's a once-off fixture, and if we do well in it, it really does make our season.
The overall record between the two schools favours KES by some distance, but in recent years, Jeppe have started to turn the tables.
In the recent 3 years, we've been having difficult encounters, especially last year where we've lost on the home ground. I think it's actually measured up to be quite difficult now because of how they've grown up to be a big school, good school, turning black and gold.
That means nothing. 70 minutes into the game, history means nothing. In schoolboy rugby, you always get a new side, so it really doesn't mean anything. We're looking forward to the 2013 fixture. We're going to prepare as we prepare for every game. Obviously, there are going to be nuances for the Jeppe clash that we're going to look at, but in essence, we're going to do the exact same things we've been doing for the whole season that hopefully have been working for us.
At the past few years, we actually have built a tradition of focusing from the first week, building the players inside the change room, starting from schoolwork. They have to be up and ready. We always have traditions of getting up at school, going to gym in the morning, preparing ourselves mentally and physically for the game. It's not just something we come about every weekend and play. It's actually one thing we have to hold up, especially for the old boys who represented the school in the previous years.
The school unites behind the first 15 in their red jerseys with their famous teddy bear mascot.
You cannot describe the feeling of wearing that red jersey. So, I mean, the likes of Joe van Niekerk and Brian Urbana have been in those jerseys. So, being one of those players who you can say, I have worn the same jersey as Joe van Niekerk is just extremely exciting. So.
Wearing the red jersey was a goal of mine since grade 8 when I walked through the gates of KES. But for me, it's not really wearing it, it's performing in it. That's the major thing for me. And we've only done the first step in wearing it. Now we've got to perform for it.
I don't like to normally talk before the game, but I think we're up for it. I think the team's ready and we've got something to prove to them. I think we should actually show them what we've got on our home ground.
It's very early in the season, but I would like to believe that our side this year would like to revenge the defeat of last year. So I think we'll be playing just that extra little bit harder this year.
After the break, we visit rival school Jeppe.